Okay, so it's time for me to explain a pretty great setup that I've been noticing lately in the NQ or MNQ. And I'll try to explain it to you really briefly. So the bottom line here is that in the NQ and the MNQ, a couple of coaches that I have in Liberty Trading Club, Paul and Brian, have pointed out to me numerous times that price tends to bounce quite often off any number that ends in 26 or any number that ends in 77. Why this is, nobody knows. But I really haven't seen this in any other futures contracts like the MES or gold or crude. And so for me, that means that this is a slight edge if you're trading futures to go with the NQ, because this is a pattern that plays itself out over and over again. So something to keep track of. Now, what I've noticed, okay, in my trading is that the 5-minute 20 and the 5-minute 50 period moving averages, when either one of them coincides with a 26 level or a 77 level and price, okay, you've got a really pretty great trade on your hands, most likely. So I'm going to give you an example from something that happened in this morning. I wasn't here. I saw this after the fact. I was out of the office. But I'm going to give you an example that happened just about 9 o'clock this morning. What you had a 26 level. In this case, it was 22,926, coinciding with a 5-minute 50 period moving average. And I'm on TradingView. So the way that you get these, you can put these in, by the way, is that you can just go to customizable daily MAs off your indicator list. Go in there, set it to 5 minutes, okay? Set it to 5 minutes, and I set the lime green one, or the neon green one for 20, period moving average, and the gold one for 50. That's how I do it. So it doesn't matter what candles you have. And this particular chart is a 10-second chart. I also have exactly the same thing on a 2-minute chart over here. If you just go and look here, you'll see I've got exactly the same thing. A 5-minute, 20, and 50, neon green and gold. So it doesn't matter the chart that I have. I can have the 5-minute, 20, and 50 on any chart. So basically, like I just kind of going back to what I was saying, this morning you had price kind of meandering around. It was just sort of like between levels, right here just before the open, half an hour before the open. Then suddenly you had it pull back right to this 26 level and the gold line, which is the 5-minute 50. And so price kind of, you can see the spike in volume down here when this happens. So you almost always see a lead candle, meaning a red candle that comes down with big volume into that zone. In this particular case, it was right here. And then typically what you'll have, and this is something I do a lot, is you'll have a cup and handle situation or a pullback situation where it will, put in like a bit of a double bottom, but a higher double bottom, and you'll see your MACD, rising and down here, and kind of it will kind of try to shake you out a little bit, and that's really common. It'll try to shake you out, but if you're just kind of waiting for it, ready for it, you can see that generally it'll come back to the 50% retracement level, and then when it kind of catches a foothold there, then you can actually go ahead and grab it, put your stop down under here. So in this case, this would have been an amazing trade, especially if you are using the 1-minute 20, which I have here in blue, to hold you in. So you can see it kind of bounced off that a couple times just before the open, and then it headed up, and if you're keeping a 25-point trailing stop on it, then you would have been all the way up to about here at 23,077 from an initial entry at about 22,941. So about 130 points was available, or about 5R if you have a nice big trailing stop, a 25-point trailing stop, which you really didn't even need. You could have done this with about a 20, about a 15, about a about a 20, actually about a 25-point trailing stop would have been very conservative. But anyway, so that's one example, and then you had to wait pretty much till the end of the day for the next one. The next one that I saw here was right here, where you had price spike down about 7 minutes before the close into the 20, this 26, 23, 026, and the 5-minute 20 period moving average. So they all joined together right there, and then it kind of bounced up. We did a little pullback here. It was quick. You have to be quick to catch it, and then you take it up, for a few points. Nothing like the opening trade, but it was still a pretty good trade. What happened was I almost screwed up. I had kept this 1 minute 20 period moving average on my chart, and I was kind of like, I was so frustrated at missing. I logged on at 1400 for Powell's remarks, and it just kind of shot straight up. It never gave a pullback, never gave a good indication, except for maybe like right here. But I mean, I didn't take it, and I just watched it go 60 points without me, so I was frustrated. And I was trying to get in, and finally I did get in. I did get into the trade about right. Let's see, where did I get it? Yeah, I got in right here, and I was like the closest I think I've ever come to getting stopped out. I literally had my stop sitting at 23, 22, 70, at 50, 23 or 22.50 right here. Literally right here. And it came to within one tick of stopping me out. I mean, I couldn't believe how lucky I was. And then what I did is, because I got in here, I was trying to play the bounce off the 1 minute, which is stupid. It wasn't even close to the 26 or anything. And it wasn't close to a 5 minute level. They were way down here, and they didn't come into play until almost the end of the session. 26, 5 minute, 20, and price all came into play right here for a nice clean trade. But I just was impatient, I guess. I bought right here off this bounce where I saw a bounce off the 20. It was the first time it kind of gotten close to it in a while, but it really still, if you look at the MACD, it was trending down. And it wasn't until really right here to this pullback after this bounce off the 26 that a good trade was available. But I didn't get stopped out. I came within one tick of getting stopped out, and I took it all the way up to just under 23.050 for a nice $500 winner. So I got so lucky. Anyway, that is what I want to show you. These are amazing trades. They really, especially this one this morning, was unbelievably amazing how it performed. I mean, if you look at this one, and if you have the understanding of how to hold and how to hold and ride these EMAs, that would have been a pretty good trade for not much risk at all, and a huge, huge, huge reward. So, just trying to show you the power of these trades. I'm going to keep my eye on these over the next days and weeks and try to focus on these exclusively. I took another one on Monday that worked out pretty good. I'll show you that one real quick. I think I already made a video about that one, but it was a good one. It was a good one. It was exactly the same kind of trade, and I did it at 1400, and that was right here. You can see where this 77 level kind of joined in with this 5 minute 20. And then it kind of danced along it right here along the line, and then it just flushed down. So I caught this one, and I got I think about 25 points out of it, something like that. It was a pretty good trade, 30 points. So anyway, it's probably better not to look at the 10-second too much, and focus a little bit more on the 2 minute, because there's a lot of noise on the 10-second, but the 2 minute kind of shows you cleanly, where the best entries are for these kinds of things. So anyway, once again, this trade from this morning, if I'd been on and I'd seen this, I think I probably would have, I'm pretty sure I would have grabbed it. It was a nice one. It really took off to the upside once you had that confluence of the 26, the 5 minute 50, and price all together. And it just, it really was a good starting point for this trade. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Sorry for such a long video, but I did make $500 today off that one trade at the end of the day, and I got lucky because I didn't get stopped out down here. almost got stopped out, one tick away from being stopped out. And that would have been a $500 loss. So $1,000 swing right there. But anyway, that's it for today. We'll back at it most likely tomorrow morning.